What if one airplane could change everything we know about commercial aviation? Not just a new model, not just an upgrade, but a flying machine that makes airports rethink their gates, engineers question the limits of design, and passengers wonder if they're still on Earth or already in the future. Welcome to the world of the Boeing 777X. This is not just a tour of another jetliner. This is a rare glimpse inside what might be the most ambitious commercial aircraft ever built, where the wings fold like a bird's and first class looks like a private sanctuary in the sky. If you think you've seen it all in aviation, wait until you meet the 777X. Stay with us until the end of this video, and you'll walk away with more than just facts. You'll discover why this aircraft has become a symbol of the future of flight, and you'll understand the hidden reasons it feels so different, even if you've never set foot on board. So let's begin, not with specs and numbers, but with a question that aviation lovers often ask. Why does certain aircraft design make your heart race? Psychologists who study human fascination with machines say it's about complexity, motion, and intent. We don't just admire what planes can do, we're drawn to what they mean. Speed, power, precision, control. The Boeing 777X isn't just another jet. It touches all those human instincts at once. When Boeing unveiled it, the headlines focused on the big things: world's largest twin-engine jet. Folding wings take flight. Luxury in the sky. But behind those headlines is something deeper, something that appeals to the mind of every aircraft enthusiast. Because the 777X is not just a technical feat, it's a message. It says, we're not done pushing the limits. Even in a time when airlines focus on cost-cutting and maximizing seats, this plane dares to prioritize both beauty and brains. It's built to be more efficient, but it doesn't look ordinary. It's designed to carry more passengers, but it offers more personal space. And perhaps most stunningly, it's the first commercial aircraft in history to fold its wings. That single feature alone creates a moment of awe. Think about it. For decades, folding wings were reserved for military aircraft, naval fighters that had to fit on aircraft carriers. But commercial planes, that space was considered fixed, rigid, non-negotiable. Until the 777X came along and quietly rewrote the rules. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The folding wings are coming up next. Right now, we're still inside the mind of the aviation fan. Because if you've ever paused to watch a 747 taxi by, if you've ever sat at a terminal just to hear the deep whine of a GE90 engine, then you already know something that the average passenger doesn't. Airplanes aren't just machines, they're masterpieces of motion. And Boeing knew that. That's why the 777X was built not just to perform, but to impress. Every angle of it feels deliberate. From the extended wingspan that stretches wider than any commercial twinjet in history, to the powerful next-generation GE9 engines, the largest ever made for a passenger aircraft. But there's another reason this plane makes such an impact, a deeper psychological one. People love things that evolve. When something familiar takes a surprising new form, like folding wings or a first-class suite that looks like a hotel room, our brain lights up. We pay attention. We feel like we're witnessing progress in real time. The Boeing 777 family has been flying since the mid-1990s. It's a trusted workhorse, but now we're seeing it evolve, grow, transform. It's still a 777, but it's more than that. It's the 10th, and that X stands for exploration, expansion, experimentation. This is what makes the 777X such a thrill for aviation fans. It's not a clean sheet design, it's something better, the perfect blend of legacy and innovation. A plane that respects what came before, but doesn't settle for it. And for airplane lovers, that means everything. Because we're not just here for the destination, we're here for the design, the experience, the transformation of air travel into something smoother, smarter, and more human. So, in this video, we'll take you on a deep dive into the two things that set the Boeing 777X apart from everything else in the sky. First, those folding wings. Not a gimmick, but a bold solution to a real challenge, and a symbol of moving parts in motion, which the human brain instinctively finds fascinating. Then the cabin experience, especially first class, where new dimensions of comfort are being shaped by technology, psychology, and luxury. And here's the promise. By the end of this video, you won't just know more about the 777X. You'll feel why this aircraft might be the most important commercial jet of the decade. This is not just a machine, this is a message. The sky has changed, and we're just getting started. You don't usually see a commercial airplane move like this. The Boeing 777X rolls up to the gate, and just as it slows down, something unexpected happens. The ends of its wings, more than 11 feet each, begin to fold upward, as if the aircraft is adjusting itself for rest. It looks alive. It looks intelligent. And to anyone who loves planes, it looks like the future arriving on its own terms. But what exactly are we looking at? Folding wings on a commercial jet aren't just a visual stunt. They're the answer to a real-world engineering puzzle. The 777X has an enormous wingspan, 235 feet extended, designed to make the aircraft more efficient in the air. But that same size would make it too wide for many airport taxiways and gates. Boeing needed a solution that let the plane be both large and adaptable, so they gave it folding wingtips. This idea is rooted in simplicity, but it took decades to perfect. The folding mechanism allows the tips of the wings to rotate vertically when the aircraft is on the ground. Once it's in the air, the wings lock into their full extended position, giving the plane better lift, longer range, and improved fuel economy. The transition is seamless. No pilot action is required. The system is automatic, fast, and certified by the FAA with specific protocols in place to ensure that the plane will never take off or land without the wings properly locked. To put it plainly, this isn't experimental. It's built for daily commercial use, and it's safe. Now let's break down why this matters, not just technically, but psychologically. Longer wings reduce drag. Less drag means better fuel efficiency, which leads to lower operating costs and fewer emissions. That's good news for airlines and the environment. But there's another layer here, one that taps into our fascination with movement and transformation. Psychologists call it morphological curiosity. It's the idea that when something changes shape with purpose, our brain gives it more attention. This is why we're mesmerized by origami, or by a transformer toy, or by a bridge that folds open to let a ship pass through. The 777X does that, on a massive scale. Watching those wings fold isn't just a mechanical action, it's symbolic. It says this aircraft isn't bound by old limitations. It adapts, it moves with intention. It solves problems by becoming something new. That's deeply compelling for anyone who's ever stood at a window and watched a plane taxi in silence, wondering how it all works. Let's talk numbers. The full wingspan of the 777X is over 235 feet. For comparison, that's wider than an Airbus A380, the world's largest passenger aircraft, when the 777X has its wings fully extended. But when folded, the 777X matches the wingspan of the previous 777 models, allowing it to operate at most major airports without needing new infrastructure. This flexibility is critical, because airport design is expensive. Gates are built to specific standards. If Boeing had required airports to rebuild just to accommodate the 777X, adoption would have been slower. Instead, the folding wingtip allowed them to offer the benefits of ultra-long wings without the penalty of incompatibility. But folding wings alone don't tell the full story of how this aircraft moves through the air. Those wings, made from carbon fiber composite material, aren't just longer. They're lighter, stronger, more flexible. The tips are designed to bend naturally during flight, reducing the impact of turbulence and increasing passenger comfort. That's something passengers don't always think about, but they feel it. A smoother ride, less vibration, less engine strain. The plane isn't just flying, it's gliding with purpose. This also affects range. The 777X can fly up to 8,730 nautical miles. That means fewer stops, more direct routes, and more efficient long-haul operations. Airlines like Emirates, Lufthansa, and Qatar Airways have already placed large orders, not just for capacity, but for performance. Here's a subtle detail most passengers will never notice. The hinge line where the wing folds is engineered to be aerodynamic. Even folded, the tip becomes part of the wing's airflow design. There's no disruption, no exposed mechanical chaos. Everything is smooth, enclosed, and integrated into the aircraft's body with surgical precision. And again, this taps into another psychological principle. Fluidity signals intelligence. When a system moves with grace, when mechanical parts seem to know where to go, our brains instinctively register it as advanced, trustworthy, and elegant. The folding wing doesn't just solve a space problem, it creates a feeling. It tells us we're flying on something that adapts to the world around it, just like living things do, like birds do, like evolution does. And that emotional connection, subtle as it is, makes the 777X feel more than just modern. It feels alive. Even on the ground, the aircraft carries presence.
The way it lowers itself to taxi.
The way the wing joints flex as the plane turns. It's an aircraft that behaves with confidence because it was engineered with intention. All of this is happening before a single passenger steps on board. The folding wings of the 777 times are more than a technical innovation. They're a message written in motion, a sign that commercial aviation still has room to evolve, still has beauty left to reveal, still has moments that can make even the most seasoned flyer stop and stare. And in a world that often feels rushed and predictable, that's worth everything. Step inside and the transformation becomes even more personal. Because while the exterior moves with strength and elegance, the interior speaks a different language, one of comfort, silence, and space. The kind of atmosphere that doesn't just carry you across oceans, but makes you forget you're even flying. Airplane lovers often focus on engines, aerodynamics, and design specs, and for good reason. But deep down, even the most technical mind understands the quiet magic of a well-designed cabin. It's the moment the noise fades, the seat cradles, the light filters through perfectly placed windows, and you realize that aviation is not just about performance, it's about presence. The Boeing 777 times cabin is wider than its predecessors. That extra space isn't just used to squeeze in more seats. It's reimagined to create an atmosphere of calm. Walk into the first class section and you'll see the philosophy at work. More space, fewer distractions, and a layout that mirrors luxury hotels more than traditional airliners. Private suites, sliding doors, lie-flat beds with fine linens, adjustable lighting designed to match your circadian rhythm, personal climate controls. These aren't just features, they're signals. They tell your brain you are in control. Psychologically, this matters more than it seems. Air travel can be disorienting. You're 35,000 feet in the sky, moving at nearly 600 miles per hour, detached from time zones and natural light. In that environment, your mind craves stability, a sense of grounding. That's why a space that feels personal, predictable, and quiet has such a powerful effect on the human nervous system. The 777 times offers that grounding experience, not by chance, but by design. First-class passengers experience what researchers call environmental ownership. When you can close a door, adjust your lighting, and sleep flat, your brain feels safer. Stress hormones drop, heart rate slows, and passengers arrive more refreshed, less irritable, more focused. This isn't luxury for its own sake, it's engineered well-being. Even small details add to the effect. The windows on the 777 times are larger than any other in its class. Positioned higher on the fuselage, they bring in more natural light, creating a softer, more open feel, even before takeoff. The window dimming system uses electrochromic technology, allowing precise control over brightness without clunky shades. The lighting system inside the cabin is also tuned to human biology. Boeing uses dynamic LED lighting that shifts gradually to help passengers adjust to different time zones. Blue tones in the morning, warmer hues in the evening. It's not just mood lighting, it's circadian alignment, subtly syncing your body clock to the journey ahead. Then there's the sound. The Genine Times engines powering the 777 times are not only the largest in the world, they're also among the quietest in their class. Combined with advanced insulation and redesigned airflow systems, the result is a cabin where you can actually hear yourself think. For travelers used to the constant drone of older aircraft, this silence can feel surreal. There's a deeper psychological response here too. Silence signals control. When an environment is quiet, the brain assumes safety. It relaxes. That's why luxury cars invest so heavily in soundproofing. And why the 777 times cabin feels more like a personal space than a public one. Now think about what this means in the context of long-haul travel. Passengers in first class aren't just buying extra space, they're investing in cognitive clarity. In a world where time is the most valuable resource, arriving sharper, calmer, and more rested is worth more than a glass of champagne or a gourmet meal. But of course, those are here too, served at your own pace, plated like fine dining, accompanied by wines selected by sommeliers. Yet even the food is part of the psychological strategy. Studies show that high-quality meals improve perception of time and reduce flight-related stress. When your senses are engaged in pleasure, your awareness of discomfort fades. All of these details, the doors, the lighting, the food, the silence, combine to create a state known in psychology as predictive comfort. It's not just about what's happening now, it's about knowing what's going to happen next, and trusting that it will be good. That trust is what keeps passengers coming back. And it's why airlines like Emirates, Lufthansa, and Qatar have chosen the 777 times to carry their highest-paying customers. Because this aircraft offers something few others can, the perfect balance between high-tech innovation and deeply human design. And while first class gets the spotlight, the psychological comfort extends throughout the entire cabin. Even in economy, passengers benefit from wider fuselage space, improved cabin pressure settings, and air that's more humid than older aircraft, reducing dry skin, fatigue, and dehydration. It's not just a better seat, it's a better environment for every person on board. Aviation enthusiasts often say that what happens inside the plane is just as important as what happens outside. The 777 times proves that. It reminds us that engineering doesn't stop at wings and engines. It reaches into the smallest corners of human experience and shapes how we feel, how we sleep, how we travel. This is the evolution of flight, not just in speed or size, but in psychology, in the experience of being up there, above the clouds, and still feeling at home. The 777 times doesn't just fly passengers from one city to another. It redefines what it means to travel. It creates space not just for people, but for peace. And that's something every aircraft lover understands instinctively. What makes an aircraft unforgettable? Sometimes it's power, other times it's elegance. But every few decades, a plane comes along that defines an era, not just by what it can do, but by what it represents. The Boeing 777 times is that kind of aircraft. It stands at the intersection of tradition and transformation, carrying the legacy of one of Boeing's most trusted platforms into a world that demands more efficiency, more comfort, more intelligence in design. And this isn't just about luxury or aesthetics, it's about what the 777 times means for the future of commercial aviation, a future shaped by pressure, innovation, and the unrelenting pursuit of smarter flight. To understand its impact, start with efficiency. The Boeing 777 times is built with a clear mission to fly farther, carry more, and burn less fuel. It's powered by the Genine Times engine, a technological giant with a fan diameter of over 134 inches, the largest ever fitted to a commercial aircraft. Yet despite its size, the engine is astonishingly efficient. Compared to the previous generation, the 777 times achieves approximately 10% lower fuel consumption. That might seem small at first glance, but over thousands of flights and millions of passengers, that number changes the economics of aviation. Airlines can operate longer routes with fewer stops, lower costs, and reduced environmental impact. This matters deeply, not just to operators, but to passengers who are growing more conscious of aviation's carbon footprint. Flying smarter is no longer a bonus, it's an expectation, and the 777 times is designed to meet that expectation head-on. Then there's capacity. The 777 times can seat up to 426 passengers in a two-class configuration, with ample flexibility for different layouts. That makes it one of the highest capacity twin-engine aircraft in the world. But unlike older wide-bodies that often compromise passenger comfort for more seats, the 777 times balances space and scale with surgical precision. More people, fewer engines, longer range. This is the formula for future-proof flying. But aircraft aren't just machines of numbers. They're carriers of trust. And Boeing knows that trust is built through resilience. The 777 times has had its challenges. Development delays, supply chain disruptions, and shifting delivery schedules have all tested the timeline. But instead of rushing the process, Boeing has committed to refining every detail, from software systems to flight controls to safety redundancies. This deliberate pace reflects a broader shift in aviation psychology. In the past, speed to market was everything. Today, precision and reliability win. Test flights have already proven the aircraft's potential. In one of its most notable test runs, the 777 times completed a nearly 4-hour flight over Washington state, reaching altitudes of 25,000 feet, with perfect performance from both engines and control systems. It wasn't just a successful test, it was a public statement. This plane is ready to lead. The airlines believe it too. Emirates, the world's largest operator of wide-body aircraft, has placed a major order. So have Qatar Airways, Lufthansa, and others. These are carriers that don't just follow trends, they shape them. When they invest, it signals confidence. But what's most important isn't just who's buying the 777 times, it's why they're buying it. Because in an age of rising fuel costs, intense competition, and evolving passenger expectations, airlines need an aircraft that delivers on all fronts: range, capacity, comfort, sustainability, technology. The 777 times is one of the few jets that checks every box. And that's where psychology plays its quiet role once again. Humans don't just remember how they traveled, they remember how it felt to travel. The 777 times makes passengers feel something different, even before takeoff. It looks like no other jet. It sounds quieter, it moves with grace. From the folding wings to the taller cabin ceilings to the advanced lighting and pressurization systems, every touchpoint is designed to leave an impression. It's not just a ride, it's a signal that flying has entered a new phase, one where comfort and conscience work together, where passengers no longer have to choose between long range and a pleasant experience, where aviation doesn't just serve demand, it inspires imagination. There's a term used by design psychologists called emotional anticipation. It refers to how people feel before a product is even used, based solely on how it looks, moves, and is talked about. The 777 times masters this. It builds expectation from the moment it appears on the runway. And once on board, it delivers on that expectation with precision. That's rare. And that's why this aircraft matters. It tells the world that aviation is far from stagnant, that even after more than a century of flight, there are still bold new chapters to write, and that with the right engineering, the sky can still surprise us. For airplane lovers, this aircraft is more than a machine. It's a masterpiece of balance between function and beauty, between progress and reliability, between legacy and ambition. The Boeing 777 times may be grounded today as deliveries roll out and fleets prepare, but its future is already in motion. Every inch of it says one thing: the future of flight isn't coming.